Welcome back to Shiva's World Let's Play Factorio. This is the third take on this video. The last two times um, something went wrong and the voice was out of sync with the rest of the video and like super sped up. Um, so if you think I'm broken and choppy and disjointed now, you couldn't understand what I was saying in the videos. The one thing that I tried to do differently was I tried to record from my webcam to show me playing the game. I'm hoping that's what caused it because otherwise I don't know what I'm going to do. So before I even load the game, I just want to quickly show you that I did install two mods. Telelogistics, which allows for kind of teleportations, inserters. I don't know exactly how they work, but they looked interesting, so I wanted to give them a try. And Pocket Bots, which allows you to to carry around construction bots and basically use your armor as that kind of mini roboport, which will make setting up auxiliary bases and railroads a little bit faster. Neither of these techs change neither of these mods change the basic tech tree. I was going to install tree farms, but tree farms seems to replace a lot of the oil stuff, or be an alternative to a lot of the oil stuff. So I just wanted to leave the video as being something that people can still follow, just kind of the base production chains, while also making things a little bit more convenient and fun for me. So we're going to load this up. Good thing I started with episode 3. I started making backup saves where I would save at the end of each episode because I had it, like I said, I had to do this video 2 times already, and if I didn't stagger my saves, I wouldn't have been able to undo it. 3B here, I actually decided to play a little bit off camera, and the reason I did so was because the waiting for oil processing was a bit of a killer. So I actually built a lot of science packs in hand. I usually don't do science pack 2 in hand, but just waiting for this was a killer, and this was basically a dead time video, and it wasn't a lot of fun. So one of the things I did was I set up all the rest of my bases. I set up an assembly line for these guns. And what I did here is this actually sets it up to take out every fourth. It doesn't matter right now because it's jam-packed, but so this splits it in half, this splits it in half again, so every fourth plate goes here. This last one here is to re-merge these, because if I just turn this into here, these copper plates would wind up on this side, and that would jam things up. Fluid handling. And that's not what I want to do. So this last one here remerges it. And so then I just run these along. And as you can see here, you can actually see these new clips. Like you probably wondered why I got so excited about the clips being different in my first video. And that's why, because when I used to do this before, you couldn't see the clips on the conveyor belts. They were the same color, and they're these little rectangles. And yeah, so now you can actually see they look like on the conveyor belts. So I just basically funnel them underneath with an underground inserter. One thing to really be important of when building near a wall is if you build something right next to the wall and biters come and attack it, what they do is they'll attack the wall, and if there's not enough room, like there's too many biters, they'll actually move around to the next part of the wall. They will attack this if it's right next to the wall. They usually don't attack poles, but when they're right next to a wall, they will. And the same thing with these underground belts. If underground belts are right next to the wall, not a good idea. The other thing that I did off camera was I expanded this to a full eight engines and full 12 boilers. Nothing too fancy, you've seen that. Also, this stone mine ran out, so I actually built a stone mine way down here. I also built one here. There was a small patch of stone there that ran out, that already ran out, so I moved it. But right now it's just this. I almost moved all of this down, but I figured with this coal so close, I would just bring the stone up. And lastly, no, that was it. Oh, there's one other thing that I want to tell you. And some of you may have noticed this the very, very first video, is I actually had this sideways and didn't notice it the whole video, for all the rest of the videos. At one point, when I was doing this, actually when I was doing the first take of this episode, I was like, why am I running out of iron? And I did this. That was the first reason I did this, was that this wasn't using up all my iron. But then I came down here and realized that this was sideways. This one here had been destroyed by biters way back when I was attacked in episode 2. And I didn't notice this whole time. So it pays to keep an eye on things and see what changes. So that's it for stuff that I did off camera. So another thing that I realized and already did, this actually is not necessary to place there. In my entire chain of resources, the only thing that uses conveyor belts is the science pack 2s. So I actually don't need to put conveyor belts on the conveyor. That's all that needs to be done. Conveyor belts will go here, and science packs will go here. I'm actually going to move that over one. Another little thing that I like to optimize, won't matter too much right now, but I like to make these blue. As you can see here, this has a crafting speed of 0.75, whereas this has a crafting speed of 0.5. It also has less pollution. I thought it had more pollution. Wow. So it's got less pollution. It's got better crafting speed. There's no reason not to upgrade these. I'll use more electricity, but blah. I don't care about that so much. Nice little speed boost for your science. And we need one more of these for the... So this is going to be making conveyor belts. This one's going to be making science pack 2s. And this one here is going to be making inserters. I believe this also uses wheels. Yeah, it does. So this belt here, I actually need to come up and around. And then this belt here needs to come over to... This doesn't need either of these two resources. This needs to be here. This needs to be here. Okay. All we need... Just gonna grab it from here. So we need to grab that, we need to grab that, and we need to grab that, and we need to grab this. And then we need to insert this into here, we insert this into here. I think that's right. Need to power that. Okay, so those are being made. These are missing this. Those are being made. And these are being made. And all of that to produce science pack 2s. For science, yes! And we're getting science pack 2. Now, I've already researched, well, I used to just saw at the very beginning, the oil refinery. I also researched I also finished researching this while I was playing off camera. And that's it. So right now we're just going to let this run while I go, and one more thing that changed is that this opened up. So I'm actually going to go down off, not off camera, but I'm going to pause the video to take out this base here. Oh, another thing I did off camera was I built another piece of heavy armor. I also switched to steel axes because once you get steel, you can build steel axes. And there's no reason to keep your old axes. This just is faster. So I'll meet you down over at this base. Okay, so this base is a little bit more tricky because of the formation that they're in. I can't really strafe around this. I actually get stuck. I'm just going to try and move in circles. Damn it. Oh. And this is why I built the second piece of armor. A little bit of foreknowledge, because I actually have done this already twice in 2 separate tries to record this video, and thus I knew that the armor was going to run low and get near breaking. Oh, I also researched shotgun damage while I was waiting for the blue tech to build. There's also a base here, but it's got a worm. So I'm actually going to save. Before I try and do this, because I think these worm attacks can actually penetrate armor. Look how much damage I took. Wow. So yeah, I've got a lot of damage there. I killed one of the worms though, which is kind of the point. I might have to go back for a second run. Let's see. No! Ooh, that was close. That was very, very, very close. Ow. Let's see if I can catch some fish. Any fish in the water? Come on. You can actually pick up fish if they get close enough to the shore. Oh, right, you right click. That's what it is. And then I believe you right click on them and eat them. Or there we go. Okay, so that's fish. Little trick that a lot of Factorio players don't know is you can actually catch and eat fish to recover your health. It is the only way to recover your health other than just waiting. As far as I know. What the hell? There seems to be more biters now than there were in the other bases, which is a little weird. Sushi! Well, it's raw fish. Now there's only 2 bases, so this shouldn't be nearly as bad. Okay. Now I've got a nice copper and iron pile here, almost like a yin-yang shape. Yin-yang, not yin-yang. Okay, now we're back at our base. As you can see, the oh, hey, I actually didn't connect this. Whoops. There we go. Just backlog because it just wasn't connecting. So these only fill 10 at a time. They don't fill them to full. I don't even know what full is. Probably 100. Probably full stack. So it's a good idea to have a huge backlog. You actually want to increase the speed of these if you want to go with these long term. And if you do that, you'll actually want to upgrade them too. To armor-piercing bullets. But now, in the last 2 takes of this video, this is where it kind of stagnates. I just kind of dick around and do nothing. But because I actually have oil, I can actually start working on my oil and show you that. So I'll pick up this. And this, and I've got lots of copper. So I actually know that there's 3. I'm actually going to build my oil stuff over here. So I happen to know that there are 3 oil plots over here. So I'm going to go ahead and build these. Now I have to hunt for these because they're a little bit hidden. There's one here. And the first time I did this on camera, the first take, it took me forever to find this 4th one. I think the 4th one is just like right here. Somewhere. There it is. It's not quite as dark as the other 2, which is probably part of the reason why I couldn't find it. Okay. Oh, another thing that I meant to do off camera and didn't is I actually meant to start a second, a completely separate power grid over here. And the reason I keep my oil completely separate from the rest of my science is just in case of power shortages. I don't want to, I'd like to keep this kind of sacred and let it do its own thing and not have to worry about letting it fluctuate. So I'm actually going to pause the video and set up a separate factory here, or a separate electricity producing thing here. Okay, I'm done with all my off-camera work. While I was doing that, I just remembered while watching the previous videos that I set this up a little bit inefficiently. Best thing to do would have been to move this down and move this across. That way I save one of these, because these are kind of expensive to make. Just a little thing. I also wanted to build a second I don't even know what I'm doing. A second steel thing right in here, but I won't do that right now. I want to focus on trying to get this done before trying to get this started before the end of this video. I need a lot more pipe. Probably gonna need more of these. And we need one of these. So while I was off camera again, the technology that I was researching finished, and that was fluid handling. And the one of the things that fluid handling does is, first of all, it allows you to get tanks, which are handy. But one of the other things that it helps me do, I don't like using pipes to move oil around. I actually prefer to put all of my oil into barrels. And the main reason for this is that over long distances, pipes are a little bit inefficient. I'm going to need more iron. It's kind of far away. I'll be right back. So the way pipes handle liquids is they basically average out the liquid in them all the way across. So over long periods of time, pipes suck. They just really, they're not worth using. So unless over short distances, like with the boilers and like here, not a problem. But over long distances, it's just not worth it unless you're using pumps. Pumps make it faster. However, pumps also require something called I believe it's called an electrical engine. Electrical engines require a lot of technological research, and they require advanced circuits. So you really can't do anything with them until you... Where am I going with this? Oh, it's up there. You really can't do anything with it until you already have the oil done. So you can't create the pumps, and yeah, they just... I just don't see the point in using a lot of pipes, and I just really prefer to work with conveyor belts. And also, this sets me up for when I use trains to get far away oil, like over here or possibly down here. So how this is done is you use one of these, and you set it to produce filled crude oil barrel. You rotate it so that your input port is on the right side. And I'm actually going to make a couple barrels in hand to get this started. And we're going to use an extractor. Now, let's put it, I don't know where we want to put it. So how this is going to work is these are now going to extract be put into a chest. Actually, I'm going to need two chests. I'm going to need one to take them out and one to put them in. And I'll cover this entire cycle in a second here. One of the things you've probably already learned about me is sometimes it takes me a bit to, yeah, that's right. It takes me a bit to, I can't work through something while I'm talking about it. I'm actually an introverted thinker. What that means is I actually have to think things through internally before I can express them. Allows for more deep thought. Most good YouTubers are extrovert thinkers, which means they have to talk things out in order to think things through. That's how they do it. So they can communicate better because they're expressing it while they're thinking about it. Whereas I have to think about it first and then express it. That's why I kind of stop and have to think for periods of time. Let's do it right here. Just arbitrarily. Okay, so telephone pole. Okay, so now we're going to grab. I have to wait for a bunch of things to finish building. So now we're going to go ahead and grab these barrels and put them inside here. And this is a empty crude oil barrel. This is too far. And this is going to output here. And I'm going to output these into a storage tank. And then after that, we're going to take the empty barrels out, and we're going to go this way with them. Once again, we're going to use an underground belt to give me some room to run through. And now this is going to fill up with oil. Well, it won't fill up with oil because there's only five barrels there. Then it's going to take out the empty barrels and put them on here. And those empty barrels are going to run down here. And we're going to put them in this chest, which is then going to put them inside there. And thus creating a bit of a loop. Now, one interesting thing about the way that I've set this up is I also often like to use what's called a smart chest here to make sure that, oh, I should probably put that as a chest, to make sure that there's only ever a certain number of these in storage at any given time, these empty chests. The problem I've discovered with that is it actually winds up creating tons and tons and tons of barrels, and I usually have like 1,000 barrels kicking around, and these only stack 8, or actually now they stack 10. They used to stack 8, and so it was really quite a pain to deal with. So now I just make them manually until I have enough to run the loop. Once I get logistics robots, then I create it so that it automatically produces as many as I need. But until you get logistics robots, it's better just to have just as many barrels as you need, create them manually. I'm glad they stack 10 now. That's actually a huge improvement. It makes them up for the loss of resources that you have before. So that's my little loop. And they're outputting to storage tank. That's about all the time I have for this video. Like to do 30-minute videos rather than 1-hour videos compared to some people, just because an hour is a long time to sit through. And if you want to watch more than one, just watch more than one in succession. So next episode, we're going to work on the oil production, or not the oil production, the oil refining, and that will be a video unto itself. Well, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next episode. Hello again. I just want to do a quick little addendum because I just remembered that in episode 2 there was something that I didn't explain very well, and I left a note saying that I would explain in episode 4. And in all the kerfuffle of having to record it several times, I forgot to re-explain it. So what I was trying to explain was this. If I were to put this all the way up against it, and this were to run out, let's take all this out. What happens is this will take all the coal, but then these last two here, it can't grab. They're too close. It just ignores them. So you actually want to stop your coal here, because it will reach across one. As long as it's pointed towards. It's like there's a little bit extra, like this is the square and then there's a little bit extra. So as long as it's pointed towards it, if I was to put it like this, it wouldn't grab the coal. It's too far away. You need a long-armed inserter to grab this coal. You need to turn it that way, and then it works fine. And the same thing with when you're going across it let's use here as an example. Actually, here's a perfect example right here. I'm going to take these out and put this like that. If I were to how can I explain this? Let's okay, that's not a good example. Better example would be here. Okay, so let's expand this, and we'll cut off the production line. Or cut off the thing. Take out these coal, and once again, it won't grab these two. It's like, Eddie, you can even see when you hover over it, there's a square, and then there's this little bit past the square. It won't grab these, because it's not in the square. Whereas, when you do this, there's a square, and then there's this little bit beyond it. It's grabbing from this little bit beyond it, and it works perfectly. There's no... So if I were to run out of coal, there wouldn't be two here at the end that are just sitting there doing nothing. And that's why I always stop just before. I tried to explain that when I set this up here. I tried to explain it, didn't explain it very well, and yeah, so I promised I'd re-explain it, and that's why I did the addendum. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next episode.